This has been a rather emotional week already, dealing with this disease. So talking about it, if I break down a little bit, y'all just forgive me, bear with me a little bit. Diabetes, there's a big, believe it or not, there's a social stigma that comes with having diabetes, having a family member with diabetes or a loved one. People that deal with diabetes are often dealing with social prejudice, with rejection, or even blame in some cases because people don't understand. And there's a lot of misconceptions, and sometimes, just like with everything else in this world, things you start to hear some of these voices, and things start to kind of creep in, and you start to believe things. So just want to tell you a little bit about what diabetes is, and in some cases what it isn't. Diabetes is a disease that occurs when the body either no longer produces insulin, or something occurs and the insulin that it does make is not used effectively by the body anymore. That's the difference between type 1 and type 2. I have type 2, so my body is making insulin, but it rejects it. It doesn't absorb it. It doesn't produce it doesn't allow it to process the insulin that is being produced. So it's resistant to the insulin, and I'm able to manage this through limiting how much food I take in with carbohydrates, and I take a medication that helps my body absorb and use the insulin it produces. So that's type 2. Type 1 basically means your body doesn't make insulin anymore. Jalen had a shirt on the other night that said, "Proud owner of a useless pancreas." And that's the way it is. It no longer functions. So a person with type 1 diabetes is insulin dependent forever. That means that you're either going to have a piece of technology that you wear that pumps insulin into your body, or you're going to get shots to get the insulin you need for the rest of your life. It's that way. So a few little facts and figures about this. In recent years, diabetes has become one of the worldwide leaders as a cause of death in some societies. Again, we're very fortunate that we live in the United States, where we have technology and we have the ability to produce insulin and make it available to the people that need it. But in other countries, and as recently in this country as 100 years ago, if you got diabetes, that was a death sentence. Because again, there is no cure. You are dependent either on medication to help you absorb the insulin that your body's rejecting, or you're dependent on it from an outside source. It is estimated that right now worldwide, 463 million people have diabetes. 30 million Americans. And worldwide, that number is expected in the next 20 years to reach 700 million people. If not managed effectively, diabetes can lead to minor skin conditions. If continued, it can lead to hearing loss, blindness, and kidney failure, and ultimately death. Again, there are a lot of misconceptions about things. Me allowing Samuel to eat candy or a cupcake did not cause his diabetes. And I know this because I've been told this by 3 nurses, 2 diabetes educators, and 4 doctors. Type 2 diabetes can, however, be managed with diet and exercise and medication. Doesn't mean that it's a diet plan. I've actually had this conversation with a person before. It was, you're diabetic, so that's no different than people that are on the Atkins diet, right? They just don't take in carbohydrates. Well, it's not the same thing. It's a little bit different. You got to have carbohydrates to be able to live. You have to be able to make the energy that your body needs. And if you don't do that, then your body's going to start slowly killing itself. So it's not a diet plan. It's not something that, I just can't eat a piece of candy, or I can't eat a cupcake here or there. It's something that has to be managed, and it's it is a lifestyle change. It's not something you get the flu in a few weeks, you're better. This is a lifelong condition. And that leads into, like what we're talking about with those social stigmas, with people, questioning, what did I do wrong? What did I do that caused this? And the answer is nothing. It's no different than a person with heart disease. So it's a family that none of us asked to be a part of. And the way that we get through these social stigmas is because of days like today, with Awareness Day, with understanding, with asking questions, continuing research. Now that's what the paperwork says that diabetes is. And if y'all know me, you know that I write notes a lot of times and then it just kind of goes off course after that. So I'm going to tell you what diabetes is to me. Diabetes is 3 finger sticks through the course of a night because you're not sure if you did the right thing at bedtime with giving too much insulin or not enough insulin. Diabetes is given a dose of insulin at midnight when you have to wake your child up because his sugar's too high. Diabetes is at 4 a.m. giving him a juice box because his sugar's gone too low. Diabetes is sitting back there on that pew right now. I'm pretty sure he just had a juice box for that same reason. Diabetes is that child looking at you saying, wait, it's going to be this way forever, Daddy? Diabetes has a name. He has dimples and his mama's blue eyes. And he gives big hugs. Diabetes is that child looking at you when you're wiping your eyes, pulling your hair, trying to figure things out, and saying, thank you for taking care of me, Dad. That's what diabetes is. Now, just like with everything else, I want to tell you, Samuel, I want you to understand that as you get older and you learn and you read Scripture and you learn more, there's a guy named Paul. He was a pretty big deal in the Bible. He loved God, learned to love Jesus. Paul's body also failed him. Okay? Just like what mine and yours does sometimes. Paul wrote something that I think was written just for us. He prayed to God when something was going wrong 3 times and said, I can't do this. Please take this away from me. And God said, my grace is enough for you. Your body might be weak, but where your body is weak, I'll be your strength. My strength will be made perfect in your weakness. And then Paul wrote later that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. You can do anything. There is nothing impossible with God. If you know someone who has diabetes, don't be afraid to ask them, how's your day going? We have good days and we have bad days. We have sleepless nights.
Amen.
We have to watch our child fight with headaches, stomach aches, and fatigue. So don't be afraid to say, are you having a good day? Because sometimes that's God's way of reminding us that we can do anything.